clicker.
I'm not allowed to.
Good morning, everybody. I'd like to call Wednesday, October 30th, Committee of the Whole meeting to order. It's 8:32. Lucy, will you call the roll, please?
Supervisor Fomblett.
Here.
I'm here. Township Manager.
Here.
Trustees Bowman.
Here.
Sands.
Here.
Will Hyde. Here. Assessor Hurd.
Here.
Director Dillon.
Here.
Director Marks.
Here.
And Highway Superintendent Dean Powell.
He's here. He's
Here,
checked out for a minute, but he's
Okay.
coming right back.
We got him.
And then we also have Betsy with us from Health and Wellness.
Hi, Betsy.
Good morning.
And talk is underway.
Right.
Okay. All right. Please stand and join me for the I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. All right. Well, we'll open up the public comment. Okay. Seeing nobody, we'll move on to administrative updates. Ted?
Okay, so the first thing I'd like to discuss with in front of all of you guys is a proposed new employee evaluation form. I found that the one that we currently were using is outdated and leaves a lot of room for subjectivity with the whole numbering system. This still utilizes the numbering system 1 to 5, but it more defines, in my opinion, what each number is and what we need to do to be able to score a specific number. Long term, I think we should get away from this completely and go more towards monthly conversations with supervisors and directors. Because, I mean, just being honest, you know, if somebody gets a 4.5 out of this, that doesn't mean they automatically get an X percentage raise, right? So it's important that we communicate with our staff, obviously, and have those check-ins. I just don't know if the way that we're currently doing it is the best use of anybody's time. However, I think that this is a better system than what we currently have. So, great question. So, what I would like to, the department has everybody take a look at it, read it over, and you know, because we're coming into that season. So,
yeah, it can be tweaked, updated,
yeah.
right into it.
So along those lines, when are the evaluations due this year?
Well, we typically like to do them in December, or I mean, in January.
I think it's January.
That too. I mean, we go into budget season in January and February, and we like to have these done before the department discusses their budget. So the part of the review is the rate.
So I just wanted to make sure.
So we're going to discuss it at the November town meeting, or?
Yeah, we can do that.
If anybody has any input or questions, just email Todd and we'll go from there. Okay?
And then the second thing is when Gloria and I went down to Hanover, we met and had that MTA training. The treasurer's office was there promoting programs that they offer, and one of the programs that they do is remote iCash assistance. And their Illinois iCash system is help individuals who have unclaimed property through the state claim their money. And so originally I had proposed doing that at the community center, but after the community center committee met, we decided to have it here. So we're going to have the treasurer's office is coming to the township Friday, December 6th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. And they will help individuals begin the process of looking to see if they have unclaimed property. More likely than not, we'll not be able to complete the whole process because you're going to need specific identification support based on what type of claim you have, and there's numerous types of claims and numerous types of reasons for the claims. So everything's going to be different. So don't come with your Social Security card, your birth certificate, none of that. You'll be emailed from the state what you need, but they will help start the process, and then they'll also help promote other programs that the treasurer's office has. So I took the liberty and just did a quick search of everybody in this committee. I already gave it to some people who are in the community center, but it looks like Donald Prouty has two unclaimed sources of income. and so does a Tossie Boutique.
And what was the date that they're going to be here?
Thank you, Ted. Good news.
Don't forget Ted's commission.
He gets 50%.
It's under $100.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know, it could be pennies, or it could be $99.99. I don't know, but it's something, right. So,
Now you can, don't
they'll be
forget
here
our healthy center.
Friday, December 6th, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m.
So 8 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Correct.
Thank you, Ted.
To 12 or to 1?
To 1.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a Friday, and that's our work.
Did anybody else that was?
I searched everybody, and those are the ones that popped up.
Larry, you and I are out.
Sorry.
Are you going to advertise this?
Yeah, we are.
It's going out in the e-blast.
Yeah.
They do it at conference every year.
Well, we don't all go to the conference.
I know.
And
Sarah
president.
was there.
Oh,
So, but again, it's not just for that. They'll also have black handouts for like the child college saving program that they do, just all of the services that they provide. So yeah. So.
I have a question. Do they have to sign up then, or they just come in?
No, yeah. You just come in, and then they'll do for you exactly what I did. They'll just type your name in. If there's a hit, then they'll start the process. But again, it depends like what type of claim it is. Like some of it's like reimbursements from Comcast.
right.
So that's going to have a specific set of ID requirements.
So probably
Or
your
if,
contract
you know,
number,
yeah,
that
if you're,
So the first time you come in, you don't.
yeah, I wouldn't bring anything, no, because you won't, unless you bring literally everything, you won't be able to put it there, and I don't want people to walk around with their birth certificate.
You'll need a driver's license.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll need the driver's license for your identity, but other than that.
Yeah, oh yeah, right, but I'm saying you don't have that on.
Right.
Great.
Normally.
Don't bring any additional support here.
Your long lost uncle left you.
Yeah, exactly.
$99.
Yeah, so that's going to have a different set of ID requirements than the
Yeah,
Comcast bill.
exactly.
So,
Okay.
yeah, that's what I got.
Any questions?
Any update on the Barrington Transportation?
Yes, so we had there's 2 individuals that we know of who who are Gila residents who utilize the Barrington bus service. We had one of the 2 individuals in to sign them up for the program Go Parent. It's a program that partners with Uber and Lyft and subsidizes their rides. And so we were going to sign them up when they came. The problem is we were going to do it on a trial basis for 1 month before we commit to a year, because we want to make sure that these people can get to work in their doctor's appointments before we commit to a long-term agreement. So when they came to sign up, we were hoping that we wouldn't start the subscription until November 1st, but it was the day that you signed up was the first day of your program. So they're going to come back on December 1st. The other individual
Just to clarify a little bit, because they already have all their schedules in for the whole month of October. So we didn't want to start before November because it's a monthly fee, so to speak. So we didn't want to start.
Maybe you should explain in brevity to the 5th what this is about, just so everybody's clear.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So up until now, there have been Gila residents.
We did talk about it. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe whatever. That's it. We'll rehash it. Yeah.
So there have Gila residents who have been utilizing that have been utilizing the Barrington dial-a-ride because the destination for the residents are in Barrington Township. So therefore, our dial-a-ride program cannot service those 2 residents. So they've been receiving the rides from Barrington.
Yeah.
Barrington Township has been covering the costs of their partnership with PACE, Lake County, to take these 2 residents to and from. They still pay the $2 fee like they do with us, but PACE only picks them up because Barrington is giving them money to incorporate them into this program. Barrington Township is no longer able to cover those costs, so they reached out to us to see if we would cover the cost for those 2 individuals to continue with the Barrington dial-a-ride at the amount of thousands of dollars. And so we just couldn't justify spending thousands of dollars for 2 individuals. There's no 2 other residents in the township that get that kind of service. So once we decided not to continue with the Barrington, the Barrington contract with PACE goes through the end of the year. So starting January 1st, if we did nothing, those 2 individuals would have no ability to get to work or kidney dialysis. So that's not right. So we did some research and we found some programs that will help subsidize those costs cheaper than just straight calling an Uber or Lyft, because, you know, these are low-income individuals who just can't afford that.
Okay. I called my church, and they used to drive to one young lady, and then they ran out of drivers.
I know, we had a volunteer program and then I called us back.
Yeah, so in our research, we found this program called GoGo Grandparent, like I said, and they partner with Lyft and Uber, to where instead of paying the $20 each way, $15 depending on the timing, it's 27 cents a minute that they're actually in the vehicle. So it's going to be significantly cheaper for the users. The thing is, with GoGo Grandparent, there's a subscription fee that you have to pay just to be able to be on their call list, and then on top of that, you pay the 27 cents per minute per ride. The nice thing about them is this GoGo Grandparent program is unlike Pace. It's 24/7, 365, holidays included. So if they want, right now, one of the complaints was one of the individuals wanted to go to the movies on the weekends, but he has no way to do that. Now he will. Assuming GoGo Grandparent is as reliable as their advertising. And that's why we want to try them for 1 month prior to January, because we don't want to leave this individual without an ability to get to work. So that's why we're doing it now.
And the one individual does go to work on Saturday, so a parent has to drive up. So this will be the way he can get there via this program. So.
And that frees up the parent schedule as well.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So if we do this for these two individuals, what happens if somebody else calls and wants the same?
We'll have to research if it's something that we can handle or not, depending on where they're going and where they live. We can't do this one because they take us out of this program, out of our area,
Yeah.
and it's a regularity. Like if it was just for a week, we could do it. But the one that's on dialysis is 3 days a week, and it's set times, and the times don't work for when we have drivers available. Because it's after, one of them, I think that one's after, to pick up, to come home is after our guys are already on their way home.
Yeah.
So we can't do that. We can't accommodate them. This one is because it's 24/7. So it just depends on what the situation will be.
Do you think that we should write kind of a little policy on that? That way we don't have a whole bunch of people calling us being like, well, I want to do it too. I want to go to the movies and I have doctor's appointments and it's over here and blah, 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 blah. Because people in the community do talk.
We do have an outline, I think, that
We do.
schools should. When we originally set this whole program up and did it way with Pace, and put together a program, this is definitely outside that realm, and I agree with you 100% that we need to.
Yeah, and so the township's involvement with this long term, we won't be involved with this long term. We're just doing it now because basically, the individuals.
We're receiving a program.
Yeah, and no reason for them, this is being taken away from them. And so we're just trying to ease the burden of these things.
But then,
It'll be a policy.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I agree, but what I'm saying is 5 years from now, the township is not going to have any dealings with how they can do it.
but you might have other people calling wanting the same type of service, I think is what
No, yeah, I totally agree.
Because I will interject there too. So the difference between someone coming to our center to do something researching and this avenue is when at least they've found GoGo Grandparent or other ways for them to Uber, what have you.
Mm-hmm.
So having the township pay for that was never on that one of options.
Well, I would argue that the only reason that we're considering paying for them now is because it was essentially a township decision to discontinue their services.
That they've been getting all along, unbeknownst to us. So we don't want to just leave them hanging.
Right.
That's the point. Yeah.
Need this in writing.
We can do that. It's not a problem. We haven't even started it yet. But I'm just saying, yes, for future we will. But again, for future, we're taking something away from somebody.
Right.
But yes, I understand.
I also think this would be a perfect candidate for for creating a 501c3
Well,
and having that on the list.
there's also the possibility that General Assistance can cover some of this as well. So we're looking into all of that. So
Exactly.
this is all brand new. This is all just,
Yeah.
we're still working out all the kinks because, like I said, we just started. So it was thousands of dollars, literally. So
I'm sure.
And I think Grant Township was calling Uber.
yeah, that's
for
expensive.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did look into Uber and Lyft, and obviously this is using them, but at a discount. So Okay, so everybody, where we are, understanding? Sure. Anything else?
Is this meeting?
It is.
And it'll be published on Tuesday? Okay.
Okay, next, Community Center Committee.
No, you-
I'm sorry, skipped myself. Okay, just want to report that our holiday party will be January 10th this year. It'll be after the holidays. So if you
When you
want
say
to
holiday party,
party for all staff and board members for lunch. It's a Friday, and we'll meet.
When I think, I think
What was
of
the date? Jingle Ball? That's
Yeah,
something
see.
totally
Okay,
different.
good.
Not the Jingle Ball.
What was the date?
January 10th, it's a Friday, probably about 11:30, 12 o'clock. We'll get invitations out later. Decided to go after the holidays so more people can attend. December's booking up already. Okay? All right. Tomorrow's the chili cook-off. If you haven't RSVP'd yet, let me know if you're coming, if you're bringing a chili or not. What time does that start? Noon? 11:30. Okay. That's all I have. Community Center Committee. Start with the chair or Susan?
Okay, sure. We covered a bunch, including on the youth end, things are going great, and I think now we're just 2 days that haven't reached the minimum threshold yet for winter break camp, so that's wonderful. We still have one spot available for the Isaac Fox bus for after-school homework club. Then on the senior end, we are doing a lot of things, including we revamped our newsletter, and that will go for January, February, March. That will go to the printer on November 18th. We have the Jingle Ball on Friday, December 13th.
Yep.
So all are welcome and begged to come help with that. That's always our biggest event. On Friday, November 8th, is our Veterans Luncheon. So if you would care to come and join, that's wonderful. And then on Thursday, November 21st, is our Friendsgiving. So that's always a fun event. We will start with, we're going to be a site for Big Brothers Big Sisters, and that our first meeting is a community setting, so it's not like an individual, you're going off and doing something. It's facilitated by the Bigs at our center on Thursdays from 5:30 to 7 every other Thursday, and that will start on January 9th. So if you know kids that would be great candidates for that program, or if you know adults that would like to volunteer, please send them our way.
Is there an age limit for this?
18.
18.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And all these things
No,
will be.
it's 5 to 18. So kindergarten through high school. Yes, ma'am.
All these programs will be advertised and promoted. Okay. What's the qualifications for Big Brother Big Sister?
For
Kids.
the kids? There's not. I know that there used to be this perception of, when you've got this kid that's, hanging out in the playground by himself at 12 o'clock at night. It's not that. It's just anybody that could benefit from having a consistent presence, adult presence in their life. Yeah. And so the commitment on the adult end of things is that a year. So it's an hour and a half, twice a month. Even if that means that, you're a snowbird and that you might be able to FaceTime for those months. So they're trying to get rid of also that daunting perception of, this is basically your kid for a year. It's not. It's an hour and a half every other week. And if you're, on a trip or whatever, that's fine. They'll have another big step in for you. Or, if you could, send a postcard, what have you. So just so that you are that consistent presence. So we're really excited about doing it. They've never had it out in this area. It's been really one of those things that has been centrally located in the county in Waukegan. And I'm really happy that we're branching out into it. We're looking at maintenance on the end of things. Oh, our sign. Hello, our sign. It has It should arrive at the sign at North Shore within the next few days, and then they will be setting up an installation date. So, woohoo! Digital signs in time for winter, and we don't have to, well, I shouldn't say we, because Jim goes out there.
You can change the.
Yeah, and it's in a good time, because now we can't even secure it inside of it, so. It has run its course, it has done its time. And then Brett was out yesterday and the day before painting our posts. We've noticed that a lot of our metal things that are painted outside the building that have that plum.
The bollards?
The bollards and the fence, the things, anything that has that plum colored paint on it. Underneath is a really nice bright red, and we're seeing a lot of it coming up. It's just, we've been there for 12 years, and that's what happens, so. I think those are
Did
the
the sign get hung yet, Berlin?
No.
Okay. Put that on the list, please. Thank you.
And then we were still waiting to see about the generator, and so then all things that come with that, and then enclosing the dumpsters. Yes.
I did talk to Darren today, and he's going to start putting together the draft report.
We're ready to go out to bid for the generator.
Yeah, last week we were finally given a grant number and all the login stuff, so it's on the horizon.
Okay.
Any questions for Susan? Were you done? I'm sorry.
I'm done.
Okay, any more questions for Susan? Okay, great. I'm going to think there. Okay. Communication, we met yesterday. And we are, obviously we talked about the holiday party, and we also talked about the newsletter, but that's coming up later on. And the only other thing we talked about again was the our donations for the Avantara and Alden. I'm going. What is the other name? Alden. I couldn't think of it. Sorry. We're doing a collection in November and the first week of December for some goodies for the seniors that are there that don't maybe have anybody or are lonely. So we created a list of items that they've said would be appropriate for these people, and so we will start advertising that. I believe it's next week. We'll take collections at the community center and down at Health and Wellness, and then upstairs in admin, and we'll collect all these things, and put them all together, and then we'll take them over we'll split them up and take them over. We have about 300 residents total right now.
Are you doing a sign-up genius for that, or how are you doing it?
No, we're not delivering. I mean, we're delivering, but we're not delivering.
No, a sign-up genius to know what to get people. Like how
So we're going to provide the list and the flyer.
So it's not individual A or like a coloring book.
Okay.
It's just like, can you bring us coloring books? Can you bring us goldfish?
Yeah.
Can you
Okay.
bring us?
Right.
And so there's just a giant list. It's more of like a donation.
Okay.
And then because both facilities ask that they give out the things
Right.
because they know their residents
And
and
what
their
they can do,
dietary
yeah.
and different things. So we said that's right.
So we're going to, one of the donations is for gift bags, so that when we drop off everything, the staff can then put them in the gift bags and then deliver them to the residents.
I couldn't get anybody to go caroling with me.
No, this is. I was going
So I
vocal not
guess
doing it.
that's being paused for this year. We'll do it next year. Okay, so that's it.
What was the caroling thing? When was it?
I wanted to go caroling.
Ah, we didn't know about it.
Well, joint communication, yeah.
No, she said when we deliver the items, she
I
wanted
wanted
to
to
carol
go
to
and
them.
deliver the little
Oh,
bags
yeah.
to the people, but we're not delivering the bags to the people, so they're taking the fun away. But
She wanted to volunteer us to.
Yeah.
Just don't give them microphones. Cool.
She was talking about her 2 rhinos that she's got.
2 miles, that's right. Okay, health and wellness, we'll move on. Trustee Sam? Or do you want to defer to Sarah?
Well, real quick, as far as just updates, we're meeting right after this, so I don't want to usurp your time. We have something to address at our meeting. But I know October was a busy month with various activities, themes, whatever going on that part.
Yeah.
And then update on the caseworker hiring.
Yes.
And then acknowledge Betsy for doing a great job in her presentations.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, thanks.
What presentation?
I did mindful aging over at the community center during senior week, yeah.
Okay, Sarah.
So we are meeting right after this. We do have a lot going on. We had like a record number of referrals this month. I think we had like 28 or something like that, which is a lot. But on the good note is we hired a caseworker, and she is going to start on Monday. Everything should be ready with her. She's turned in all of her things.
What's her name?
Ebony Brown. She lives up in Zion. Yeah.
In her previous experience, she's done caseworker.
She has. And she's had some really rough jobs, and I love hiring people who've had those rough jobs because then, they really appreciate this a lot more. She went into school, she goes into homes, so she is very versed in challenging situations. And she's been doing it in like Zion and Waukegan, they're not great areas. So we're really excited to have her come aboard. So everything should be good with her. And then we did the trunk or treat with the Village of Killdeer, and the Killdeer Police Department put it on. That was Sunday, and that was really cute. So that was a lot of fun. And then
Ted wore his costume. He went to the
I was not checking my kids' work.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was good. And then this is the first year that people keep giving us pumpkins. We probably have 6 extra pumpkins because everyone's like giving pumpkins, and I've never heard of that before.
Oh,
yeah.
Just like the little one?
Really, still
Yeah, they had a
lot. And then they had extra, so they passed out more at the end. It was a ton of pumpkins.
Maybe into the homework club, they could decorate.
Right. I don't know if I can let my daughter. They're kind of plain. Yeah, my nieces and nephew. But anyway, we are currently doing the giving tree. We have 32 names. We're really going to try to limit it this year to 50. We already have 30 people who are volunteering to get gifts. So our cutoff for enrollment was November 1st. We might extend that if we don't have 50. And then, so that's going well. We're doing the Thanksgiving meals with Jewel and Blue Heron again. So that's also, we're really excited about that. Blue Heron will will deliver all the gifts, all of the meals on Thanksgiving, and then we're going to work with Jewel to see how many turkeys they have and meals and stuff like that, and then we'll distribute those. And then I'm going to call it the Yuletide meal because I don't want to call it Christmas meal. We are going to team up with Jewel and Velos again. And then the staff will deliver all of the meals on Christmas Eve like we did last year.
Has Countryside contacted you for turkeys ever? Because they used to bring us like 30 turkeys.
The fire department, they have not.
No.
They have not. Which we get a lot of turkeys from Jewel, so I would probably...
Don't need them?
Yeah. Right now we don't. Luckily, for Thanksgiving, a lot of people donate. Turkeys and just different things like that. So the Jewel we're working with is the one on Gila, the smaller one, which they call the better one, the good one. So I just want to let everybody know that is the one. But they are the good one because they are now working with us.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, they are the good one.
Yeah, because they work with us every week. That's also where we drop off the plastic.
Shop at the other one, Luke. It's okay.
They get trick-or-treating next time.
60 pounds.
60 pounds of what?
What? 60 pounds
Of plastic in one bag.
How could you live there? I know you guys are strong.
I said Brandon.
You live Brandon? Okay.
Out of the 20-some referrals, where are most of them coming from?
Everywhere, actually. A lot of different places. We get a lot from the fire department and the police department, but a lot of parents are calling about their kids. Some parents are even calling about like adult kids that are kind of failure to launch type thing. There's a lot of people calling about homelessness and like housing instability. And then we have a lot of calls because right now a lot of the utilities like to be turned off right now because they can't when it gets too cold.
Right.
So a lot of people are getting that turned off. So we're getting a lot. from a lot of different things. Like I wouldn't be able to identify one call we're getting the most of. I think people are just stressed. It was a very stressful time, so a lot of people are calling for that. The other activity that we're doing, we're going to do Shop with a Cop. We're not sure about when that's going to be yet, but we will participate in that again. And then we are still going to the library every second Monday of the month, and it's going really well. People are really responding. We had a sign-up sheet. People were waiting.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm like, you guys know we're here. Like, you can come over here, but I don't know. I guess they like the library. Maybe it's a little bit less of a intimidating setting. I don't know. And then the fire department did get back to me, and then we're going to either schedule something for December or when I return from leave. They want a training. They want a training. So I did a training with their command staff, and then they want me to extend it and do it for all of their fire, for their staff. And they want it needs to be 3 days, and then they want to make it like 2 hours. Actually, 3 days to get all the shifts. But it's only like 2 hours in the morning of every. So we're gonna talk to them about that. We'll probably do it when I'm back.
When is your leave?
January, the end of January. Yeah. So I'm going to try to stay as long as possible. My due date is January 31st, so we'll see if that will work out. Is it? No.
You want the new move.
And then, as you can tell, Betsy is here. So Betsy will be taking my place for all these things. And she's going to start coming to the meetings with me, all the different meetings that I do, and then so she can start participating in them. So we don't have any, drop-in services or drop-in meetings or anything like that. So
Okay.
that's it in a nutshell.
Okay, moving on. Next, Parks and Recreation. Trustee Deacon, any report? Turn it over to him.
We have about 3 weeks left of football. Once football's done, we will shut off the sprinklers and get the company to come out here and blow off the lines, winterize for the winter. We poured our concrete pad by the pickleball court yesterday. That turned out really well. We had to close it for the day. You guys went out there this morning, stripped the boards, opened up the pickleball court in case somebody wanted to play today, and sealed it. Turned out pretty nice. And we have...
Rex back?
Not yet. We're going to keep that section closed off.
Okay.
Because they sealed it today.
Okay, that's fine. Just asking.
And then we're going to black dirt seed and matted today also.
Around it. Okay.
Can I make a suggestion? So that we do have some people who are utilizing that area, the pavilion, to make food and do different things like that, some of our homeless population. And can we just put up a sign when we're going to turn off the water and the power and close the doors? Can we just, whenever that is, maybe like a week before, put up a sign on fine? They're all aware. They're like, yeah, we know.
Has the water company
It's been delivered. Sherman Mechanical is housing it until the spring when we install it.
We have a problem with our driveway out here. I don't know if you've touched.
I've not touched base on it.
Has anybody contacted you from the village?
No, I contacted them. But
They were here this morning, the village.
They painted out there now.
Oh, okay. So long story short, they had a water main issue over here. And they knew about it. They started doing summer repairs last year. They finished repairing it this year. And then they dug a hole through our asphalt, which was just done a couple years ago. And they made a hole in it, so they had gravel, but then they finally came out and put new asphalt on it, which is fine. But now, for some reason, we have like ripples coming in
The asphalt's
direction.
heaving.
It's like heaving, like there's water under there. And so
Yeah, you can feel it when you drive.
You can feel it.
You feel the bumps.
And when the rains, you could see how it's a high and low, how it trickles to the where it's supposed to drain. And so I contacted the highway department, not the highway department, well, I did talk to you about it, but I did reach out to the village of Lake Zurich, said, hey, Mike Brown, could you come over and take a look at this, because this isn't right. It was not like this before, it's like this now. So I met one of the gentlemen out there, and he says, I'll bring it to my boss. I took pictures, and we'll be in touch. So I came by the other day. I was not coming to work. I was going to Mariano's, and I saw 2 or 3 village trucks here, an engineer truck, and something else. So I immediately turned into the driveway and talked to them. They can't believe how bad it is. Because it's not just that one little area. It goes all the way like to here. So then Mike saw more people here today. What more do you know?
Derek was out there. He must have been talking to Jeremy, the utility supervisor.
Jeremy was the guy I met first, yes.
From Lake Zurich. He was looking at the road, and he said they're going to contact their insurance.
Our insurance?
Their insurance.
Okay.
He said he's not entirely convinced it was from the water main break, but he admits he doesn't know what else it would be.
Mm-hmm.
He said it wouldn't be repaired until next year, which might be okay, so we can see what settles out. So we'll just have to deal with it when we're plowing this winter.
Because there's, you can see the curving, and you can see at the area that's going towards 22, how it goes from, where the asphalt hits the curb, it's like this, but as you get closer to 22, the asphalt's like up here. So there's something going on. It wasn't like that before. So, and I keep telling them, we just did that 2-3 years ago at a tune of I don't know how many thousands of dollars. So it's getting too close to do asphalt now because they're going to start closing, and I don't know.
There's things that can be done. I think the major issue is there a safety issue the way it is now?
No.
No. They have to wait for the season.
Right. So, anyway, that's the update on that.
Is there any way we could get something in writing from them that they're working on it through this room?
Well, we have the emails.
Okay.
We have emails, so at the moment, but they have their engineer out here, and they're trying to figure out what the cost is going to be. And their budget ends December 31st, so their first response was, I don't know if we've got the money for that in this year's budget. Well, I don't have the money in my budget either, and I shouldn't have to fix it, so that's where we're at, to be continued.
One last thing, we got contacted by a resident in the very back corner of Knox Park 2 weeks ago, and they said their fence was knocked down from the last winter storm we had. And they said, well, it's been probably 3 weeks that we had the storm. Oh, I was supposed to call you. I didn't get. Long story short, as we went out to look at it, there's about 3 fence panels that need to be repaired, and a couple posts. So we're getting that taken care of now.
I'm trying to figure out whose property line that was on, and is it our fence?
We've looked at the GIS multiple times, and it looks like the fence is right on the property line.
It is,
How do you know?
because I know when it went in.
So we paid for the fence?
Yeah. Because there was a retention pond, so it had to have a fence around for safety.
Mm-hmm. Back there?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then are we going to accept responsibility for that whole fence all along the whole section in case something happens in the future? I mean, just old age and they rot out? And
I think since the property's been altered from that retention description in the plot, that going forward, I think the fence was put up originally. I mean, you call it what you want, but they wanted some kind of barrier from the park. We started cutting trees down and moving stuff around. Right? I mean,
But it was obsolete when they filled in the retention pond.
Well, I don't know. Let's talk about this offline, because I don't know if there's anything in writing that says we're responsible for this, moving forward or not.
Because on the property line, I think you are.
well, you got to go back to how it was permitted.
Yeah.
Should
have been on the
Surely
property
Zerk's
line?
got documentation on it, and you got to, even if you redo it,
Right.
somebody could say, well, where's the permit on this, or what,
Which is hard because it was put up before we annexed to Lake Zurich.
Boy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway.
Bodies out there, right?
No, please, don't do things out loud.
So looking up, there was another resident on the very end that they back entrance to Knox that their fence was taken down too, and we went out there and they had the whole section repaired, so they did that one on their own, we didn't do that one, so.
Okay. Oh, this is gonna be fun. All right, we'll move on to the highway department.
We've been, go ahead. We've been lucky with the weather, lack of rain, wrapping up a lot of our projects. We just finished up a storm sewer project on East Road in Forest Lake. Drainage section, we did about 75 feet of 12-inch pipe under 2 driveways. Got that wrapped up. We've got another East Road over by the community center. We've got another project in Long Grove we're waiting on the engineers for. That might get pushed off until next spring. But otherwise, all of our storm sewer projects are done for the year. We do still have some skip patching we want to get finished up in Forest Lake before the snow flies, because there's some roads that need to be addressed before the house hit them. We got lucky enough to hire a new full-timer to replace Austin. He's a gentleman that lives in Spring Grove, very well versed in equipment operation. He has snowplowed, and so far, me and Jeff talked yesterday, we thought he was
a good hire.
He's working out really well.
Young kid.
Young kid, yep.
Nathan.
It's almost time to start pulling out our snowplows. Once we get this last project done, we're going to start working on pulling out the snowplows and spreaders and getting them hooked up. It's getting close. For some reason, if we get a freak storm, we've got plenty of salt and liquid, so we don't have to worry about that. And this probably could have went back to parks also, but I'm getting ready to hire a seasonal, older, middle-aged gentleman from Cary, and he's got experience plowing snow.
I saw that look.
Maybe don't do that.
Okay, yes, sir.
The first gentleman we tried to hire, he was excited about the job. He knew it was part-time. Called him up, told him he could come in for his pre-employment drug test, and he never showed up. So we put the posting back out, and we had a couple applicants that had no experience at all. This gentleman popped up, and we're going to actually talk to Dave's last day is tomorrow, so he will not be around after tomorrow. Peter had his knee surgery. He's got a release to drive, but he can't work. So we're going to have to finish up mowing until the end of the year. We are going to bring Peter in to show Arthur's our new employee, the new season, I'm sorry. We're going to show Arthur the snowplow route so we can get adjusted to that, and he's going to take him out and show him the route that they do when they mow grass. So the season will get probably a week's worth of work before the snow flies. So.
Any update on
Kubota is fixed, repaired. The last we heard was about $5,000, and it was supposed to be delivered on Monday, and we didn't get it. So it's in transit.
It is fixed.
So yeah, we still have a little bit of mowing we can finish up once it gets here. Thank God it wasn't the high-end cost to get it repaired. So we'll probably talk about in our next budget meeting about moving some stuff around to see if we're going to replace that in a couple of years, to hang on to it, if some of that money could be used elsewhere for another piece of equipment. That's all I have.
There's some culvert work in Kildare on Cuba. Is that a private firm?
It's not us.
It's like 200 feet concrete and driveways.
He's got a sinkhole at the corner of Cuba and Rand.
Yeah.
And we went through some UPM, and we're thinking it's going to be in IDOT right away.
Yeah, all right.
And I believe it's a CMP, so it's probably routed and trying to get IDOT out there to repair that CMP.
Yeah.
And it's not something we can do because you have to close that road.
Right.
Okay. Any questions for Mike on highway? Okay. Next, bus service, well, I already gave you the update on the bus service regarding two residents, so,
Just a quick question, what's the physical conditions of the buses right now?
we have four. The two old ones are from 2014, they're our first purchases. They are used for after school. Only both of them are, or one?
One, they're both
One.
used for camp, one is used for after school because we need a backup.
Backup just in case. So they're from 14, and then we have the other two buses, which are the newer ones, and they are being used to transport all of our residents currently. So there's 2 to 3 on the road at one time. 3 for sure in after-school care. So I did reach out, well, I was going to talk about it in budgeting, but I did reach out to get a current price for a new bus, because I know one of the two in 2014 are getting up there with some continual maintenance, obviously, because it's 10 years old. So
when you say you have a physical report stating the condition and the
Brett has one.
recommendation?
Brett has had one.
And who's, is it our people that's doing the evaluations?
Yes.
Is
I don't have it
frame
with me.
issues, is it rust, is it transmission engine, what's the?
I don't know, I've got it.
Yeah. It's already probably 6 months old already, that report. But I did reach out to our company that we buy them from to get an idea what the cost for a new one would be, so that if we choose to decide
It's
one.
gonna be over a year.
No, it's not right now.
It's not?
No. But it is a while, but it's not that long. That's what they say today. But it's quite a bit different from when I ordered the first one in whatever it was, 17 or 19. It's $135,000, $130,000. But the idea would be to then get rid of one of the old ones. But that would be part of budgeting for next year. Although there is money if we decide to pull the strings, if there was a reason to. But we can talk about
Before the budgeting process on discussion of bus, I'd like to see that report. So
That's fine.
on why
I'll get new ones.
replacement and what the issues are and stuff.
Because I think they've already had 2 new transmissions in them. Each one has had 2 transmissions put in. So, okay. So anyway, that's pretty much bus. Penny.
We're busy working up the appeals for the county hearings that will start November 19th. There's 782 appeals, commercial and residential, industrial, a few farms, which are very challenging because of the multiple buildings, but we're all handling it very well when it comes to the appeals. We're 50% done with the evidence that it has to be processed in our office. We have been working hard with walk-ins, questions, owners coming in multiple times wanting to be taught how the system works. We've been trying to keep up with that also. Permits, new homes, new buildings, Ben has been doing a lot of that. Redrawing, doing a lot of research on different subdivisions. Doing well with all of the new drawings and the building. Accubate has been a real big help. That's about it.
Any questions?
782 appeals. Do you solve a lot of them in the office, or do you have to go to Waukegan?
We don't do it in office unless there is like a rollover from a state appeal, or if there's a condition issue where the house has been demolished during the year, within the last month or so, then we do get a change. Vacancies for commercial industrial, if the building hasn't been rented for more than 5-6 months, then we can make a reduction based on that for the 1 year. So we do try to do those in office. When it comes to uniformity, it's very hard to have a case based on uniformity because we're 1 year off of the plot and everybody is within a range. When it comes to the sales have been outrageous in the last 2 or 3 years to where I found a house that's for sale, 1.25, and it's only 2,120 square feet. It's like, what? And if they get 1.2 for that house at 2,000 square feet, what are they going to indicate a market value for a 4,000 square foot house?
Wow.
So the market is still strong when it comes to pricing, because the supply is not there, so people are willing to pay the price to get a home.
And when's the date that the appeals start in Waukegan? November 16th?
November 19th is our first hearing date.
And those are done via Zoom? You don't have to go there, right?
They're via Zoom for us, for
Okay.
choice from the property owner or attorneys, how they want to do that. It's either a letter, Zoom, or in person.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yeah, when I reported at the last board meeting, we only had like 200 and some odd, and like 500 came in the last day, most of them for attorneys. But their excuse is that, well, we had to do all the other townships first because they got theirs first, and ours was one of the last ones that got mailed out. So, whether that's true or not, I don't know. Penny says it happens all the time. So
much for alphabetical order.
yeah. Okay. A Historic Society. I've spoken to a committee member there recently, and they have something on their wish list. Has been on their wish list for the last couple of years, but we've taken care of a couple other things that was higher priority, and now they want to look into getting new flooring in the museum. It's going to be a challenge because of all the things they have there. I was talking to Darren while he was here. He's our engineer, and Mike. Because obviously they're going to have to buy into this. If they want new carpeting, they're going to have to pack everything up. And depending on the structure and how sound it is, what will we need to reinforce the flooring? And we know it's not level already, so it's going to be a project.
Was plywood put over there to the old
I have no idea.
lane?
That building was built before I was born.
Before anybody was born.
No, I mean, it was just done back when Jack was still here. They looked at just resurfacing the old flooring that was in there, even though it's,
I don't know.
instead of keep putting carpeting in it, I mean, it just...
Well, we'll have to probably put a new underlayment in it for sure. Because I already know that the filing cabinet that's along the wall has to have a lift in the front, otherwise the drawer is open.
Yeah.
Oh.
We need to go slowly with that to make sure we're doing the right thing.
Right.
Because carpeting for public facilities is not doing good. It's just...
Well, they also talked about tile, but either way, whatever new flooring we put in, we have to look at the underlayment and the structure. So we're going to meet with Darren and
put pathways in
and see what we need to do to start. So there is some money in this year's budget if we could start, and then we could finish it in next year's budget. And the highway guys would have some time to help move some of the stuff if it's done like late January, February, March, because they're not dealing with all the outside work that needs to be done. So we will have to go out to bid though, I'm sure. So we'll have to see where this goes. Okay, so that's it for historic and cemetery. We're super, super close. In fact, we have the software. It's ready to be loaded on the computer as soon as we get to it. And it'll be software that we paid partial deposit for, and the final bill will be next month's audit. This is where anybody can go online if they're looking for a loved one and plug their name, and it'll give you their lot number, the grave number, and all that kind of stuff. So that's exciting. And moving forward with recent burials, we'll be able to include the obituary, a picture, and all that sort of information, family members, whatever it will be, onto that software as well. So we're excited about that. And it's taken a while, but some of the mapping had to be correct. And so I think that's the last thing we do is we've got to get the map so we can put it out there. So we're getting close. So that's all I have for cemetery. Topics for consideration. We'll move on. Discussion on postcards for fall winter newsletter. I know that we had said that we would send out a postcard to all the residents instead of the newsletter this year in an effort to save money. It would be posted on our website. Unfortunately, the cost is ridiculous. It's almost as much as a newsletter. The postage is the same, whether we mail a postcard or the whole newsletter, at a cost of almost $4,400.
How many are you sending?
One to every household.
Right, but how many, I mean, just because I do a lot of mailings too, so just to get another bid.
Well, the postage is the same no matter who does it. That has nothing to do with the bid. It has to do with the post office rate.
47,000.
Right, it's a different rate though if you mail a postcard versus a newsletter.
Well, we're telling you it has not changed.
Is this going only to unincorporated?
Postcards are a lot less
No,
to mail.
all of Eagle Township.
8-page
Okay.
newsletter.
I'm sorry.
Postcards are a lot less to mail than an 8-page newsletter.
I'm being told that things have changed, and that's not true anymore. From 2 different vendors. And then the cost we got 2 different quotes on the postcard, and there is quite a difference on that. Probably savings of $3,000 to go with one vendor over another vendor. But the postage we're being told is still at $4,400 to $4,600.
Could you email that out? I'd like to see what the bids are. Because, I mean, I do that too, so I just like to see what they
What do you mean, email you what?
The bids. I want to see what the bids, yeah.
I will, but that's fine. So anyway, at this point, we're putting it on. Susan already included it in her
Front page of
front
our,
page of our newsletter that went to every single household that it would be. And we're going to advertise it in our e-blast, but not everything's on e-blast. And we'll just do the best we can at this point. And then see what happens if we get complaints or not.
If there's another option.
Okay. So that's where we're at. And so anyway, the newsletter articles were due to Jessica this week, and she'll be working on putting it together next week so that we can review it and approve it at the November board meeting. Okay? And then it'll be emailed the following week. It'll be on the website the following week. Okay? Any questions? All right. Next, discussion on proprietary ownership of community center classes. Could you pass those that way?
I'll just get it up.
Okay, no. Okay, so what's kind of handing out is the paragraph that is in our current handbook. It talks about township property. We touched base on this at the community center meeting. Both Mitzi and Jim and Susan have created programming or what have you, taken pictures during township time and has used it in township programming at this community center. But moving forward, Susan would like them to be able to take ownership of it and be able to use it for gain, so to speak.
correct.
For gain on their own time outside of township property. Outside of township time, I should say, not property. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, a couple of things. For instance, Jim has created 63 classes. Be that Psychology 101 for seniors or Ghosts versus Spirits, whatever the case may be. And most of these, to be completely honest, most of these classes are created on our own time. You know, because when we're at the center, we're frontline. And so, so they're created, they're used. We save a boatload of money as a township because these classes are then presented to our residents and they're in our programming. It's what our newsletter is filled with. And now with Mitzi coming on and has come to us, actually she's come to us with classes created that incorporate art and psychology and end of life programs, be it like 5 Wishes, what have you. I'm asking that they retain that they own what they've created, and the same would apply to me with my photos. So my photos that have been used, be it when we're on long distance travel, or at the center, they're in our newsletters, they're on our web pages, They are used in other townships and other villages. Like Zurich has some of mine. They are used for the Association of Illinois Senior Centers and for National Council on Aging, as are some of the classes. Jim's Happiness class was presented to the National Council on Aging. So what I'm asking, there's nobody looking to like charge the township for it. I'm saying whenever that time they come, when they leave with their property.
Oh, so you said Mitzi came with programming already that
Oh, yeah.
she's created somewhere else and she's using here?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So in this newsletter, you'll see under ELA-U, there are art classes. She came to us with us. That's not something that,
That's fine.
you know, I mean, like it's not.
Yeah, she brings them in, they're hers.
Correct.
If they're created here, they're ours.
Exactly, that's how it's pretty,
So,
I mean, that's pretty much law right now.
Yeah.
So she's asking for this to be changed.
I'm asking so that, because the way the newsletter, or the way the handbook reads right now, that's not the case.
What's that? It says it's exclusive property of the township. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a copy
If
user.
it's generated on
the ones
our
that-
time,
The ones that Mitzi came up with,
it is township property.
Mhm.
If it's something she brought in, that's
During-
completely separate, and that's
Yeah.
statute law.
Yeah. And
That's
probably not going to change.
Is that a statute law?
It's implied, it's law.
It might be implied, but it's not statute law.
I
Well, we
think,
should
I would argue that.
I agree.
Yes.
Well,
We
like
can
the
verify that
yeah,
point.
what about the ones that Jim creates then
At home?
at home on his own time then?
Yeah. Which, again, that's most of what we do. So,
And you need.
But then the pictures go into camera. they
Legal,
go-
legal.
I own the cameras. In fact, I'm about to pick up $600 worth of repairs on said camera. That
Camera? What'd you do?
Right.
But
My
again,
recommendations,
I
they
do.
overview it.
Okay, and then you probably have the same program ideas down here with your.
So you're saying, so is everybody saying that, okay, so in every job, right, like your travel, you're able to go and travel because you work as part of the township and you're able to take pictures. So to me, that's your job. So in every job, sometimes you work long hours, sometimes you work at home, depending on the job. You're saying that now anything you create on the township, you want to say it's your property? Is that, and your program? Is that, I'm just trying to understand.
I mean, I think it would be more like we have training, so then if, you know, I created training for the fire department then, and I leave, I want to take that training with me so I can continue to provide it to fire departments.
But who paid you while you created the training?
Who paid what?
Who paid for your time while you were creating your training?
Well, she's also saying like she did some of that on her own time. But I mean, some of the trainings
This is where you need legal, I'm just saying, this is,
are very, like, the information is, you know, it's kind of the same anywhere.
you can argue this till the cows come in.
Yeah.
You need legal advice on this.
Okay, just so you know, Susan brought this up. This is news to Sarah. She was not unaware of this question coming up today.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of the programs that I bring in, I've used before. Because, I mean, this information is, I mean, you update research, but a lot of it's the same. Coping skills, burnout.
A lot of times it's proprietary canned stuff that you used elsewhere that all this needs to be defined.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, a lot of professional.
I'm not saying yes or no.
Right, I know.
It's just
And like, I'm
we need
thinking
to-
about like Jim presented generational differences, things. There's several things that he presented back when we were at the Y. You know what I mean? Like, some of those programs have been well established way before he even was hired here.
Legal can certainly look at it and give us the direction of how it should be done.
I can't remember.
I know, right?
You were single.
Take my training.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we will look, I didn't know anything about regulatory law. We will bring it to legal and see what their responses are.
I created what I do with social media. When I was doing social media for Long Grove, I created a lot of programs with Richard Night Out. They stayed when I left, and I other communities have adopted them, and it's just part of, this is just my personal experience, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, this is my personal experience. I was hired as marketing and communications, and what I created stayed with them because I was paid for them. So I'm just not sure if it's being different in any way, and I think it's a really good way to look at it.
So are you saying that when he leaves, he wants to take all of it, or that he could continue to do it here, but just also do it somewhere
Oh,
else?
absolutely, correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
But can't he do that anywhere then? If he gets a new job, what? He can do that.
Well, let's get the proper interpretation of what we're looking at, and then we can discuss it if, because a lot of this is personal opinions, and the law changes
No, and
every
that's why
day.
I said it's good to get legal, I was just saying my
It needs to
personal.
be reviewed. Yeah.
Okay, TBC. Okay. Next is employee health insurance plan. I distributed the 24 rates, 25 rates, and then a spreadsheet to help everybody to understand where we're at. We had a meeting with the insurance company last week and found out that I handed it only to the board. Oh, sorry, because I thought you guys wanted to leave. Is that correct or incorrect? Okay, never mind. That's what I thought I heard. Sorry. You're welcome to stay.
And they leave, or?
If they,
it's public.
it's a public meeting, they can come and go. So the insurance rates, we found out went up are going to be up over 10%, under 11%. So I gave you the 24 renewal rates, and I highlighted in green in 25, on the 25 rates, what's changed.
Yeah.
Okay, so the deductibles are going up. The tiers for the prescription drugs are going up, and so are some of the office visits are going up.
So this increase, at top is this 14%, and you're saying 11.
No. She's looking at the spreadsheet.
Okay, it's two.
And I understand, it was clear percentage.
Yeah, and I didn't get to the spreadsheet yet. I'm talking about these two pieces of it.
Okay, but this number is comparing as is today.
But we're not talking about this right now, though. We're talking about those sheets.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so Blue Cross Blue Shield is still, as you can tell at the very top here, this is the renewal current and then the renewal. And that's still the best options for Ela Township.
Which sheet?
This one? Oh, very top is current, renewal, and then there's some companies that won't even bid anymore on group insurance.
Is it a 24 sheet?
It's 25.
Okay.
So I circled all the green. It shows all the differences because it's too hard to tell from the photocopy.
Yeah.
So I just circled it all so you can all see what the differences are. So with that being said, at the end of the year, it's about a $30,000 increase to Ela Township based on if everybody stays in the same program they're in now. Because they have their option between the PPO and the HMO.
What percentage is
That's
We've
roughly
had
10.5%. Yeah.
We've had changes in coverage, though.
Yes,
We've
the
got
deductibles are
band
going up.
coverages I mean, so it's not identical to last year. Haven't we had employees make changes in their programs from
Yeah.
individuals or?
Yes.
So that's part of it as well.
No.
It's not.
No. I'm saying it's the same as long as everybody stays in, if they're in a PPO, they
Got
stay in
it.
PPO, and if they're in HMO, they stay in
But whatever
HMO.
the current,
That's-
these are our current numbers. So yes,
Current
yes,
numbers.
we had some people switch from individual to family.
Okay.
But if they stay in family PPO, this is
This is what it is. Got it. Thank you.
Okay, so to make it, I just want to show you what that means. Okay, that's the spreadsheet now.
Okay.
It shows the cost per employee depending on if they're just employee coverage, if they're E&S, that's employee and spouse, E&C is employee and child, and their family. So this is the 24 rates, and then here's the 25 rates. And then I'm showing you what the 14% employee portion would be, which is what everybody's paying now.
Does anybody have HMO? Because I know my
Yes,
doctor
there's 3
is not,
people.
my doctor's not taking
There's
HMO.
I'm
at all.
3 people right here.
Yeah.
One, and one.
So-
So the number in the parentheses shows
how many
how many people are in that program here, okay?
So what's the out-of-pocket, can you, like, you're showing green, $40 copay.
Okay.
No, he's back on the other sheet.
Okay, so this sheet shows that,
This sheet is,
He's asking about the copay, the difference in the new copay amount.
what about it?
He's asking what the difference is.
Oh, it's like $10 or $5.
okay, and then at the end, total out-of-pocket, I mean,
It's changed from,
where are those?
so then what, well, you have this one,
I have this one.
the 24 rates are right here. It shows you the out-of-pocket was 50, I can't read it, 51, 56?
I think 585.
Yeah, they went to 61.50.
So employees are going to be paying 10% more as well.
If we keep it at 14%, they'll see the increase as well, yes.
So we will be paying 10% and employees will be paying 10% more.
Correct. So, our annual fee goes up to $338,000, and the employee portion would come to $47,000. Oh, 338 is the whole total.
Yeah, 338
Is our whole total, I'm sorry.
Exactly. If
And
we got
employees-
zero contribution from the employees, and the township paid 100% of the insurance costs, it would cost the township $338,000. Because the employees contribute 14% of that, the employees will combine contribute $47,000, meaning at the end of next year, the township will pay $291,155.
Versus 263.
So $30,000 increase.
Exactly.
And what is overall payroll? Is it, how much annually is payroll?
For the whole,
Well,
Just to compare.
yeah, I don't have that.
What was the question?
She wants to know the total payroll.
payroll
expense.
averages
how much
about
is-
45,000 times 26. How's that? As a rough number.
Okay, just to kind of get an
Yeah.
idea. So $30,000.
Because summer's a little bit less,
A little bit less than
more,
$30,000 increase.
and then you have overtime, so roughly.
Okay.
And the dental and the vision went up like $1. It was very minor.
Well,
We just found Questions? Questions?
No, see,
And this is only option.
So we have United, if you look at the 2025 plan, United also bid, but with the green circle on the first page, United also submitted numbers, but it's more expensive and the coverage is significantly lower. And it would also require a lot of our employees to change doctors.
Right, because they don't include North
And
Shore
so we
or,
don't- yeah.
I think, Advocate. or-
Right, so we don't want
We
to
didn't
have them pay more and then limit their doctor choice.
So the way the revaluation does it, that our agent or any agent goes out to all the insurance companies, and here there was like 12. And most of them came back and said they don't want to do government or whatever. And United Healthcare was ruled out of our realm or not accepted because most of our employees were out of network with the doctors that United Healthcare had. And United Healthcare, again, my personal opinion, is one of the worst insurance companies out
It
there
was the best I
for
ever had.
employees.
That's the favorite opinion. She
Yeah.
said the best, she said the worst. Yeah.
Well, I mean, but
I dealt with it for 25
Well,
years.
personal, I mean, the fact that they are more expensive.
But for us, Blue Cross and Blue Shield gave the biggest bang for buck for all of our employees, and it's a premium process. And I'm surprised to see that United is more expensive than Blue Cross.
Yeah, definitely, they're more expensive, and if we went with them, a lot of our employees would have to switch doctors,
Yeah.
and that would cause us a lot of problems for a lot of people. So it's not, and we're going to ask them to pay more money. So it didn't make sense.
Right.
So I think whether United's better or not, it's just for us.
Humana has dropped out, and Aetna has dropped out.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah, they'll.
They say more and more don't want to do the groups.
Yeah.
No, right.
Humana being one of them.
So it looks like we're gonna stay with.
That is the proposal, given all the
Yeah.
It doesn't impact the employees and.
Well, so it does impact employees in that
But
there
in
are
terms
some
of
fundamental-
changing doctors.
No, none of that, but there are fundamental changes that we're going to have to communicate in terms of premium increases,
The earlier the
co-pays.
better.
Yeah. So, so our hope is that the board votes on it at the November board meeting to agree to
Right.
this, and then we will have open enrollment for the first 2 weeks in December.
That way, if anybody wants to change what they're in, they have the opportunity to do it. Okay, any other questions?
Thank you for putting it together.
Now the fun. Okay, municipal levy. Ted and I spent several afternoons going over our mid-year review.
I have no idea.
Don't even ask.
He says home films?
I don't know, I hope not. Not on the touch computer, I hope.
First of all, that was on the TV, not my computer.
Okay. Oh, yeah, sorry. All right, so Ted and I spent several afternoons reviewing, doing a midterm review, since 6 months is now over of the current budget.
Right.
So we did, we kind of, our first process was to go through every single line item and see what we thought we were going to spend between now and the rest of the year. So like phone's pretty easy, you just double the amount, and if we're in the same ballpark, we're going to use it all. There's a couple things where we know that we weren't going to spend the money, so we could adjust what was going to be left over going into the new year.
So you annualize this?
Yes. So we have our budget numbers are in the first column for 24-25.
So column C.
Yep, okay, thank you. D is projected spend.
Through the end of the year. So this is end of year, projected end of year totals.
And then F is what we're kind of just basing it on what we would need to spend, what we would spend next year based on what we're spending this year. So everybody got that email to them, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So this is the same thing that's up there, is what we emailed to you. So fiscal year 24-25, we levied $3,985,000. After looking at all this, I feel we do need to levy at least $3,820,000, which is a reduction from last year.
So can you take us through?
Yes.
How do you get $3,820,000?
Oh,
That's why I'm struggling.
Okay, that's what we're going to go through now.
Okay.
So, based on the beginning part, you can interject anytime you want, but I guess we have a question here.
Sherway is here to deliver our voting equipment.
Sir, early.
Well, no, they were supposed to be here between 9:30 and 10:30, and it's 9:49.
Okay.
So we want to pause for a minute.
We need the screen.
We don't have to do anything with the screen.
No, but we need to see this. So where are they going to put it?
Oh, they put it over there on that wall.
So you want us
They'll
to
put it
take a
over
break,
there.
is what you're saying?
If you want, or I can see if they can circle back.
They could just deliver.
What is it?
Maybe 10 minutes.
Do it.
You guys don't mind.
Yeah.
No. All right.
Come on in.
The election equipment. Yeah. They're a week early.
This is not, they can't be here today.
They weren't supposed to be here today, anyway.
All right.
Okay, let's move on.
I'm sorry, quick question. If that is in here, can we still have, like...
Yes, it's all locked up.
Yeah.
They can't touch
Could you
it.
make that a little larger?
Yeah.
Maybe.
At the bottom.
At the bottom, right?
At the bottom.
Yeah.
Make it a 160. Or 120.
Bigger?
Yeah.
Make it bigger?
No, that's fine.
Okay. They were coming to this part. Yeah, I'm sorry. Mine screwed up.
So Gloria, just to preface, I know how to get the $3,820,000 if I add up all the levies by fund.
Can you stroke add up all the what?
All the levy amounts by fund, that equals $3,820,000.
Correct.
But I'll let you go through your presentation, then I guess I have questions as to how you determine that's what we're going to do, because it appears we're going to be spending down reserves at some point too.
Well,
Or maybe we're not. I mean, I don't want to be, you
No,
go
that's
ahead.
okay, yeah.
You go ahead.
okay, so the trick, the hardest part this year, of course, is because we've made the decision to update our numbers. And so that we could include now cemetery and parks within the general town. So it's made it a little more cumbersome, I guess you could say.
So what was general fund levy last year?
$3,985,000.
No.
General town.
Oh, general town.
1,784,294.
No, that's not what we levied, that's what we got.
Basically, it was the same.
It was.
Basically, it was the same.
It was exactly the same.
We got a little change.
Yeah.
Yes, it was a
I
little
mean,
change.
yeah, with a couple dollars from the county, then, yes.
Yeah, no
If you're
guarantee
under
what you
5% on your levy,
Pardon me?
It's no guarantee what you levy.
No, I know, but you got $2 million up there.
Yeah.
Was last year $1.8 million?
No, it was once, yeah, it was.
$1,780,000.
County yard.
which I think was a
When we
3.
did the levy, it was $1 million, what we asked for, $1,780,000.
$780,000.
Yeah, and then the
Okay.
county.
So now, that spread, $1,780,000 versus $2 million, is supposed to encompass moving part of those
Parks.
So,
parks
And cemetery.
into town fund.
so no,
No?
because those funds have more than a year's reserve in them. So we are not anticipating to spend parks or cemetery from general account next year.
We have to spread, we have to take it out of those funds.
So we're
first.
spending down the cemetery fund and the parks fund before we incorporate those expenses into general account.
Okay, so then my question becomes, what do we do with this cap if we're not going to keep town fund high enough to supplement those other two funds when it's used up?
What are we going to
Good
do?
question.
What are we going to do with this cap? I don't.
If you're...
$2 million is not a cap.
You're
No,
moving
but
the
I'm saying,
funds.
once we use up those funds,
Yes.
let's just use an example, it's $500,000.
Okay.
Right?
Which is part.
Now the town fund, general town fund needs $2.5 million going
Correct,
forward.
exactly, yes.
Aren't we going to get a cap?
We are nowhere near the the 0.25 cents cap. We're, as a township, we're at 14 cents.
Right.
Yeah. So we
we
would
can
have to
raise
levy
town
$10
fund,
million in just corporate tickets.
so we can raise town fund up to the maximum as long as in total,
Exactly.
we're okay.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Where we are, I mean, it would be, there's no realistic
Right.
scenario in which
Yeah.
we would ever come anywhere near getting to the point.
Okay,
Well,
but
right
what
now,
you're
right now,
Never say never.
well, right now,
Example.
right now our number is 0.07, 7 cents for just general account.
Right.
So we would have to triple our general account expenses to even come close to the cap, and cemetery parks are not anywhere, are not triple the amount of corporate funds, because that's our biggest expense already.
Okay, I got you.
Okay. So as we went.
Keith, did you have one?
Oh.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Okay, so we, again, once we figured out what we were projecting to spend in this fiscal year, we based up what we're requesting would be based on that number. So like telephones are pretty close to being the same number. Sometimes we add a little bit more because we know prices are going up, right? So I don't want to go through every single line item. The big ones that we adjusted was, like income last year, we're projecting to be at $5,463,000 of total revenues under bottom Fund 1. And now we're adding some miscellaneous parks money and cemetery money, so we're going to be $5,200,000. And most of that is because I did not, like for interest, we're very high on interest.
Row 67, the end of.
Rows aren't on there, the middle of page 2.
Okay.
The reason that is I was very conservative of what interest would be. We've made a lot of money in interest this year, more than what we projected, and I'm being cautious and conservative next year as well, because we know there's an election coming. We know interest rates are already starting to drop. I don't know where we're going to be next year. That's always a question mark. So I was conservative on that. Like for instance, interest. Right now on the first page, I'm expecting we're going to have $125,000 in interest. And 1,00404.
What percentage do you use? Because I think your rule of thumb for next year in budgeting is 2.5%.
And I'm only projecting $75,000. Again, conservative, because I only budgeted 40, and I was expecting to make 125.
How much did you bump that? What percentage rate did you use of that bank money?
I didn't.
You just assumed that this is the minimum increase.
Well, I've already made $85,000. So again, being cautious at 125. And I'm just projecting next year to be at 75. Because I've already made 85 in 6 months.
Yes.
I'm hoping we can make 75 in a year. I didn't lose a percentage on. I'm making interest anywhere from 3.5 to 5.25, depending on.
Yeah, well, nothing's above 5 anymore, I mean.
Well,
but-
right, the lowest right,
And they're
the highest right
projecting-
now is 5.3.
The budgeting is 2.5,
Okay.
but that's.
So, hence the reason, so that takes care pretty much to me as far as I'm concerned, as far as income goes for the budget, unless you guys have more questions. Okay, so then we did all the expenses for admin. So, town fund 1.
The corporate, yeah.
So, to be conservative again, since we don't have our salary study done yet, we just increased our budget that we had for salaries this current year and bumped it 3%.
How much?
3%.
3%.
Because I think that's what cost of living is at the moment. Around 3% or under. So then we increased health benefits a little bit, and Social Security and IRS, because all those are liabilities that go with that increase. Okay? So the major points from there is just 101,565 information technology, declined $35,000, and that's for every single department.
Where are you?
1-01565. I'm not taking this kind of and splitting it all up, because we're eventually hopefully going to have everybody under admin anyway.
Wait, you kept it 35?
Yes.
Why, say that, why?
Because, well, currently it's at 35 because we kept the kind in my budget.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make sense to separate it out if we're eventually going to bring everything back into under town hall. So I just left it there.
Didn't you think there'll be an increase though?
Yeah, but I think this covers some increase already. But I'm not positive about
The
it.
decline rate?
But pardon?
What?
Decline?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's their rate, the hourly rate is not going up.
But did that figure in on any additional needs we might have, like if something happens, like?
Well, it doesn't matter at the end of the day because that would come out of, there'd be money in town fund for that.
Okay.
And then under town hall improvements, we need to replace some carpeting upstairs in the administration office. And then while we're doing that, we need probably paint. The carpeting is 15 years old, and you can see the wear when you're coming in through the doors. So that was something that we sort of budgeted for this year, but we just haven't done it yet. And then the $200,000 in capital improvement would be if we approved of us. But we're hoping to keep that at $1 million again. So
But you're levying for $1 million.
yeah. No, not levying $1 million. That's
That's your projected expense for next year.
Yeah,
That's
so,
capital improvements.
Right.
$1 million.
$1 million in capital
That's $1 million
improvement.
to keep in just for emergencies or any major improvement we need to do.
So the odds of using it?
next,
Zero.
using the full $1 million?
Pardon me?
Using the full $1 million, next is 0.
No, using the $1 million.
Yeah, using the full $1 million in the capital improvement line? Is that what you're saying?
Reserves.
That's our reserves.
Yeah, this is the, yeah. So we're only allowed to have a certain dollar amount in our reserve before unallocated reserves until,
Okay.
and then at that point, residents can ask for that money back.
That's what end up coming out of it.
Right.
What's the amount the full residents can ask
It's
for?
3.5%, above 3.5% annual expense.
No, we're not there.
Well, no, we're not. No.
Yeah.
Not even close.
So the 200,000 projected spend for this year.
If we decide to move forward with the bus this year. So we have to get the studies done now. But otherwise, it'll still be $1 million then, and that'll be 200 more spent.
Yeah, so then if we don't fund that 200, then the carryover number in the past would increase by that 200,000.
And is that the capital improvement fund that you had for years previous?
Yes.
Oh, it's got $1 million.
We went 1 year down to 900 during COVID, I believe. But yes,
It's an
that's our
accounting
reserve.
procedure.
I'm just asking from your experience.
Yeah,
That's
we
what's been
have.
done in the past.
The only other, we did include money for building maintenance for the community center, for the possibility if they wanted to take down that one wall, and carpeting, and then the building's being painted already, which I didn't know about.
Just the floor.
Okay. So, not in the interior. Okay, that's fine. So we left that $25,000 in there. The next change, drastic change, I guess you could say, would be on
So we
salaries.
skip social services, we didn't have anything different.
Yeah, I didn't change anything there.
Okay.
So the next page is, well, the one that I just talked about was 1-05-520. I left it at 25. I increased a little bit for those.
Yep.
And then I went down to Department 6, 1-06500. We decreased.
What, city slow down?
I'm sorry, 1-06500.
Assessors.
Yep, salaries. They were at 430 this year. We're down an employee and a half. But we're using Accubase, so we reduced the salaries and then we increased the professional services under that assessor line to account for Accubase.
Can that be transferred back?
We can, but I'm just using this for now because this would be still in place even after the election, because the budget would be approved in May.
Right. And the assessor goes through December.
Until January, the new assessor, yeah. Okay, so that's pretty much the major changes for town hall. So at the end of the day, I don't know what page we're on anymore, but Ted, are you at the bottom there? We've got right now income about $5.2 million. Expenditures $3.7 million. That's if we spend the whole million, which is not the plan.
Okay.
It's only for emergencies. That would still leave us with a 1.498, almost $1.5 million left over, carryover.
So our spend down, for lack of a better term, we
Yep.
have a beginning fund balance or ending fund balance this fiscal year of $2.746 million. Right?
That's what
The
we're
middle
projecting.
column.
That's what we're projecting.
Yeah, and then we'll end, based on this, we're going to drop to $1,498,000. So
But the $2,746,000 is carryover is only that still leaves $800,000 in there out of that capital fund, which we will. Wait, let me think about this.
well, it's got the beginning fund balance in it. And from the standpoint, if we're not going to spend capital improvements, right?
Yes.
If you put $200,000 in.
Correct, just in case.
That's going to leave us $2.7 million.
If we buy the bus this
If we
year,
buy the
it'll
bus.
leave us
Right.
2.7, yes.
Right.
But at the end of the
Next
day,
year-
the 1.498 would really be 2.498 if we don't spend the capital improvements.
Exactly.
Right. So in essence, yes, we would be spending it down a little bit if we buy the bus. Otherwise, we'd be right
Or
there.
if we spend $1 million.
If
Well, assuming we don't spend $1 million, so just one of the numbers 245, right? So what Gloria's point is, if we buy the bus, if we don't buy the bus this year, this number goes down by 200, and this number goes up by 200. Those numbers.
Right.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
one of
so
the
we're not really almost
But
spending.
what I'm saying is,
Okay, I'm sorry.
potentially, based on this, we're at least in the levy presentation, planning on spending $1 million on capital improvements.
If they're available, if we need them, it's pretty much our emergency fund, so to
Are you
speak.
saying it
Right.
shouldn't be there?
No, I'm saying if we plan on doing it, we're taking our reserves down to $1.4 million then, because the levy's not going to cover, right, that $1 million of capital improvements. Based on what you're asking for.
No, because it's carrying over from
Correct.
one year to the next. So,
Correct.
right, it's not accounting for that in the levy. Correct.
Right.
We're not asking for
So
that
it's-
extra million.
yeah.
Correct.
as long
Sorry.
as you stand with the 5%, you can carry that over.
Yeah, right.
Not 5%, Larry. 3.2% of our.
Yes, of the percentage. What about our long-term thinking about buying more buildings or properties or what?
Land. Wasn't there some talk about land for the cemetery?
Yes, there
About
was.
what?
Cemetery land?
There was discussion about that. It's still on the table.
Yeah.
We have not had any communication with that family. That family has not responded to any letters we've sent.
It's in a trust, and they're in, right?
And I don't think anybody even lives there.
And you're
But we've
on-
reached out to them, and they have not responded to us, and I don't even think they picked up their mail that week. I think it ended up getting sent back to us. Because we sent it, they
But
signed for it.
is there any money, what?
We had $100,000 once set aside in cemetery
Okay.
for improvement.
And then,
But if we bought land, we could still, now that cemetery is coming under town fund, we could use that money.
and then another big purchase that has been just thrown, again, nothing's been voted on, but just thrown out there is the pavilion to use for summer camp as well as planes and as well as that's not been here at all.
No.
But that would fall under the $1 million capital improvement.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's basically the type of expenses that we're talking about that would fall under the $1 million, and why we have it there. In case these things come up, we have the reserve fund right there.
And the building repairs.
The what?
Building repairs,
Which one?
the ones you said the bricks are falling off.
That would have to come under capital improvement as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So general assistance is 0 changes on that. We're spending it down. We're going to ask for $20,000. General road.
Any questions on GA before we?
Yeah, I mean, it's,
That's one of the pretty standard ones, but just
Yeah. So general road,
What number is that?
300, Fund 3.
Okay.
We're right now suggesting that we ask for $300,000 in the property tax for this fund. I've altered the income from the Kildare, Long Grove, Deer Park, North Barrington. I added 3% because of our IGA says we can increase 3%. So I'm assuming we will. So I upped that number just a smidgen to account for that. So that with our carryover, our income for the year would be $1 million, just under $1.7 million.
so you're not assuming any increase in work, you're only just increasing the intergovernment agreement by 3%, and that's how you...
Correct.
So is there any forecast on major changes in those, Mike, in amount of work? Or, I mean, you're limited to resources you have, and it's...
Right.
The amount of personnel it's got.
They don't come to us, this far in advance and say, we need to do this.
Right.
Deer Park is a lot of email, can you do this tomorrow? Long Grove is probably the best as far as projects go.
Pick Deer Park. They've annexed into Cook County now.
Yes.
That's part of, I mean, that's going to be, within the next year, there's going to be...
Because they annexed that property where they're putting the jewelry store.
That's
They're
already
in
been
Cook
done.
County. I know, I'm saying that, I'm
That whole corner, all the way down.
Oh, that was just the corner.
I know, I'm just saying
Oh.
what's in the books, that,
Okay.
that this is going to happen. It won't happen in the next year, but that kind of thing.
Okay, so then as far as expenses for general road, they're pretty standard, didn't do a lot of changes. The only thing we made a major change to was the capital improvement line, which is 3-04-600. We spent $475,000 of the $675 on this year's road program. What number? 600. 3-04-600. We spent $475,000 on the road projects this year, the Indian Creek and Forest Lake. So that leaves $200,000 in that line item for capital improvements for next year, with the idea that we would move, this one's very complicated, but move the road maintenance project to Perm Road, which is actually already in there. So at the end of the day, we have $1.7 million. We're spending $605,000. and leaves a carry forward of $1,089,000. Is that right? Ted?
Sorry?
Is that right?
All right. I'm showing 1.6 in revenue, 1 million in expenses, or carried over 640,000. I think.
6.5%, that is right, I'm sorry, 6 something, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah, I think, because after we sent this out, we changed.
Yeah, we changed it, what if, we had a what if scenario.
Yeah.
And the what if scenario is do I need to go into it, do you think?
I think it's worth discussing.
Okay, what if, so going into this year's budget that we're in now, we had $475,000 put away for road maintenance for this fiscal year and $475,000 road maintenance put away for next year. So we actually had almost $1 million put aside for 2 years of road maintenance. So we could put $475,000 back into this budget to have 2 years again in reserves, or, road work for 25 and road work for 26, summers, which is
So fiscal years 26 and 27.
But the only problem is some of this money gets reallocated to the municipalities. So we're trying to keep this number down as much as possible.
And the allocations come out to be, what, 50 grand?
No.
Oh, no.
No.
How much?
Last year it was like $238,000, right?
So that was 2 years later.
Okay.
Not this year, the year prior, yeah.
What was this year?
We were conservative this year.
Yeah, roughly ballpark 75 to 80.
Yeah.
Okay,
So basically, the reallocation is
21%.
45%. Oh, sorry. Of the maintenance division under general account. So if you add up these expenses, it's roughly 45% of that 804.
So it would be taking off 25% of what we would be paying the municipalities, correct?
The municipalities get 25% of Department 4.
Yes.
So they would have gotten 25% of the $1,078,000.
And now we'll get 25% of 457?
Yes, if we leave it like this.
And have we had those conversations with them to prepare it?
Every year is different. We're not doing it away totally. Because we still have that to do because we haven't moved this yet.
But generally speaking, we did have conversations 2 years ago, letting them know that going forward, not to anticipate receiving
Right,
so much.
and we have some discussions with them. And talk
We will,
about-
and we will. We're not eliminating them totally. And every year's been different.
Go back, 25% of the levy for you said Department Fund 4?
Well, the maintenance division, so it's 3/4. So the maintenance division under general account, so
Of that
general
particular
account.
line item.
general road.
General road.
Yeah.
The general road, the property tax that we're suggesting is $300,000.
Yes.
They get 25% of that.
No.
No?
They get, so when we, see what's tricky here is we have reserve funds. So everything that we're levying, I don't know if I have it. I don't. Okay, so when we produce the levy, we let, the truth in taxation law there's a spreadsheet that we fill out. And it says, okay, how much money do we need for we'll just talk about general road specifically. General road for the administrative division. How much are you levying for salaries? How much are you levying for maintenance, whatever. Now, we don't need, so even though we're budgeting whatever the dollar amount for the salaries is for the $45,000, we don't need to levy for that because we already have the money in our reserves. We just put the line item in there to let them know what we plan on spending out of that line item. So similarly for the maintenance division, they ask the same thing. Okay, how much you would pay? How much? What is your utilities? What is your building maintenance? And then so you add up all these together and you say, okay, for us to be able to meet the needs, we need to add an additional X amount of money. Then say, okay, you need X for 304. Of that, then, we're going to take a portion of whatever you're asking for and redistribute that to the municipalities. So these expenses, what we need to add to what we currently have to make us able to do these services, produces a number. What that number then is, so let's just say we need $100,000 to add to what we currently have. They're going to say, okay, you asked for 100, but you're only getting 65,000 because we're going to take the 45 and give it away. So if we know we need 100,000, we need to ask for 100,000 plus what we know that they're going to redistribute. So to help minimize that and help lower the taxes, we have shifted expenses out of this department. So then that way, we don't have to ask for more money than to only, one, be redistributed to the municipalities,
Yes, we don't have that
but two, increase our ask. What we keep asking for, basically the system has us asking for more money than we need,
Right.
because we know we're not getting everything we want or we need.
And that's the hardest part to predict.
Right. So to help reduce that, we've moved expenses out of 3.4 and into either 3.1 or Perm Road, where whatever we act like that doesn't happen. So that's why that's what started this whole conversation about moving all of these departments into just one fund. So it's a lot easier, even if a resident wants to go online and look up Ely Township's budget. Right now, they have 6 different departments, 6 different funds to look at. And honestly, so let's say the generator for the community center. We're doing this project. Instinctively, you think, oh, that would come out of the community center's expenses. But it doesn't. It comes out of parks because the building is a parks building. So, that, to me, that's not intuitive. Why would I think that a generator for the community center wouldn't come out of the community center's expenses? But no, it's coming out of parks. And so by moving all that to one fund, it's a lot easier to understand because it's just, okay, these are the community center expenses, these are the parks expenses, these are cemetery expenses. And the money then is way more fluid than it is now. So I've extended on your question, but the redistribution of them, to summarize, the redistribution of the funds comes from this department, 3-04.
Now that you put everybody to sleep.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I
understand.
We've discussed this before.
I know, I'm just saying. Okay. More questions on General Road.
Did that answer your question, Doug, or did I just go off on a tangent?
Well, is that 300,000 grossed up?
Yes.
Okay, that's it.
Yes.
All right. So we're confident with 300.
Yes.
Net we get. I mean,
Yes.
at least the municipality's part
Yes.
will be okay.
So our levy is going to reflect more than 300,000, but the budget will get 300,000.
Okay. If we're going to levy for more.
You're asking for 300,000?
No, but that's what we're budgeting to receive.
Oh,
But that's part of our levy total,
yes,
300.
it is. So you're wrong. I believe you're wrong. Because that 300,000 adds up to
The 3 million.
the million.
Yeah, then we err in that 3.8 number because that doesn't account for the
The money that comes
Right.
in.
right.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we have $100,000.
Yeah. So we're roughly $100,000 under what we asked for last year. Yeah. So we will still be less.
So what would that new number look like when we account for it?
Well, it would be 300. It would be the 3.8 plus 45% of 300,000. So plus another 120.
Yeah.
Roughly.
240.
So we're going to have to levy the same amount we asked for last year, and we get less.
Well, yeah, but that's how it is every year.
I know. But last year we got $3.9 million.
Correct. So we levied 4.2.
Yeah.
Good.
So we have to look at that. That's going to change. Okay. Perm Road. We were considering asking for $1.5 million. because under capital improvements 400600, that would allow for $500,000 for road maintenance for fiscal year '26, $300,000 for a T2 replacement, $150,000 for a T4 replacement, and $250,000 for a new mower.
And the T2 and T4 are trucks, right?
Mm-hmm. And that's $1.2 million. Now, the T2 truck's already been ordered.
I got a bad feeling we won't see it.
Ever? Okay, they are looking.
Not that year for sure, not next year for sure.
So we are.
Unless we get a surprise beyond surprises, but just the way it sounds now.
So you are going to continue looking at other options then for different makes, Peterbilt
Correct.
or whatever other ones?
Different
we're looking
chassis, yeah.
At our meeting, we discussed that.
Yeah, I know. But this is the first I'm hearing now that we may not see this truck.
Yeah.
I just talked to Scott Weisbrook from Wakanda Township. He got a Peterbilt, and his chassis and his truck with the wing was $337,000, and we paid, I think, we quoted $257 for our wing truck with an International. That's how much more the chassis are with a different.
Because it's a Peterbilt or because it's newer?
No, it's just
the different
brand name,
yeah.
yeah. And rule of thumb, it was, 80,000 plus for a Peterbilt over an International.
So do we need to increase that?
Well, we might have to.
But we order one next budget year, we wouldn't see it
They
for a
won't see
year
it
anymore.
either for another year. And they
Yeah.
need it now. They needed it 2 years ago. They were going to look to see if another brand could come in earlier, but. All right, and then the other difficult line item is line item 400582, stormwater. We budgeted $663 this year. $200,000 has been spent already, and that was the Carnegie project, which we didn't just update the Carnegie project today yet.
I'm sorry, what number again, please?
400582, stormwater. We spent $200,000 on the Carnegie project and some other stormwater projects. We budgeted $500,000 in there for the Forest Lake project. We did apply for a grant. We've been told we were awarded the grant. No, we weren't. We were not awarded the grant yet.
Not yet.
That project is pending that we're going to get the award. If we get the award, it'd be $375,000.
The award.
That's a 50-50.
No.
No.
Right? No.
That's like 60-40?
No, it's more than that. Our share would only be $47,000.
No. The percentages of us getting the grant. We discussed that at one time, it was 50-50.
The cost would end up being $45,000 according to our records.
Yes, but so I thought you meant like the 50-50
No.
share.
What's our percentage? I mean, it's been dragging on for a long time now, but
Well,
what's our percentage of getting the grant is 50-50, right?
I think it's
No, it's more than that.
Because
They just haven't gotten to this year's.
Our engineering firm gave us that number. We've heard it elsewhere. Why would we think differently now?
I never heard 50-50.
What did you hear?
I don't know if he said 50-50, I don't know.
I don't remember that.
I never heard of it.
I thought you said it was just they were being dragged on. There wasn't a 50-50 chance. It's taking a long time.
It is.
Yes, I don't recall a specific number either.
But I mean, I could have heard. I don't have my highway notes with me to check it out. And we had the engineer put there.
So we put $500,000 in there for stormwater management to cover this project because we have to pay for it first before it has to be complete before we get the money back. I don't know what the timing on that would be. So we budgeted $500,000 in there, but with the option that we would get $375 back. So that could give us a carryover of, instead of $319, it'd be $319 plus the $375 if it actually happens next year. But again, we're in holding pattern. So we budgeted $500 for that. So at the end of the day, we're looking at a $3 million income $2,000,007 expenses. That's assuming we buy the truck, we buy the mower, we buy the other 2 trucks. We spend $500,000 on stormwater. That would only leave us a balance of $319,000. But if all that happening next year, it's probably slim. Right? That's where we're at.
Did, in our evaluation that Peterbilt,
We
was
haven't-
there, pardon me?
I don't think they evaluated the Peterbilt yet.
Did you get any kind of lead times on deliveries from,
No,
what did Wakanda, what did they?
it was a year and a half.
Any questions on Perm Road?
And then pretty much just got a Volvo.
Okay.
Has all built.
Park maintenance.
Well,
We didn't ask for any money for this year, set aside strictly for park. We're going to spend down what we have. We're predicting our carryover to be $768.
Keep our
And
eyes
like the
on
faucet shit, little things that was included in this.
Yeah. The only thing that wasn't included was,
make the switch.
we paid for it, we just haven't paid for installation yet, which will be minor. Okay, so, under capital improvements,
You know, but you
we're
gotta think
allocating
about our slots.
$200,000.
And needs.
Which now I'm not sure it's enough, because I just found out that the road that's out here, that has to be done next year, has increased like double. It's going to cost us $175,000 to do the road entrance on the west side of the property to the concession stand. It's going to be $175,000.
So you're at 5-0600.
I am. And the generator's at $75,000, so we're going to need at least put $250 in there, because I don't know how soon we'll get the refund on the generator as well, and we have to pay for all that up front. So we're going to have to increase that to $250. We only have $200 in there. So that would reduce our carryover $241 to the following year. And last but not least, cemetery, not asking for any money this year. They have money in there.
Just to go back to the parks real quick.
Sure.
There's a good chance there's going to be some property opening up in the area.
Vacant?
Just property in general.
Okay.
That we might be able to utilize for youth programs, bus programs, seniors. And once that property goes up, it's going to go fast. I mean, it won't drag on once the evaluations have been, are we thinking about anything like that in our needs for the future? For the buses, our bus program's expanding, our youth programs has expanded, seniors continue to expand. Do we put that in the crystal ball to plan for it? As we have done in the past, we talked about we want to expand parks, and we saved, and we bought parks, and for the community.
Well, I think we need to know a little bit more information and have another meeting to discuss that, if we're even interested, and if that even meets our needs. Before we spend $1 million, does it meet our needs?
But what's our rationale for not levying? We want to use up this money?
No, we can levy for more.
Pardon me?
We can levy for more.
But I'm saying, we haven't put anything in here, right? And that's to use up our fund balance.
Correct.
The purpose in doing that is eventually take all this out of general fund.
Right.
Okay, but we're giving up this fund balance effectively to spend it out. And you've got an opportunity, what you're saying.
Well, I'm just saying it might be, but
Yeah.
we're thinking long-term as we had done in the past around here. That's why we bought the old post office. And we were just thinking ahead.
Yeah, because this is going to leave us, if we do this, with $290,000.
Correct.
Let's just say we got a 10-year plan and a 5-year plan. And there's only so much property in this area. I mean, the inventory for homes it's just, we're running out of property. And if we have long-term goals for some of this stuff, then we need to start thinking about it now. Because once it happens and it's gone.
Yeah, I hear you.
So, we're planning for the future at the same level. I just think we need to have that discussion. That doesn't mean that we need to react on it. I think we need to understand what the ramifications are and what our limitations might be or not.
Well, then let's put it on the discussion for another meeting.
Okay.
But we need to know, I know what you're talking about, but we need to know if that's even going to fit any of our needs before you even think about it.
Right. And I'm just saying, it's there, maybe let's just talk about it, and maybe it's not.
Okay, but that's fine. But
And I'm just saying, in the budgetary numbers that, and where we start giving things up in reference to revenues or levies, that, we think, because once you give that up in percentages, it takes a long time to come back. Even if the next year you do 3, then you're still down. I mean, the carryover is a couple of years before you get back up on the levy numbers.
right, so again, this is the 3.8 is.
I'm just throwing out there as a brainstorm that we need to start thinking about some of this for future goals.
And I don't know what everybody's future goals are, but I think that's a discussion for another day.
Yes. I understand. Food for thought. Just throw it out.
So, back to the 3.8 million is what I think we need at a minimum,
Plus the gross up.
plus the gross up.
So now we're at 3.9 something.
Right, just about 4 million, just like we were last year,
Yes.
pretty much. The key is, again, this was another conversation I had with Ted, is we're not adding anything for parks, and we're not adding any more money to have money for parks the following year. So where do we add more to put into town halls, so that we have some more money for parks the year after we run out of money in the park fund? Same thing with cemetery. But cemetery is still good for 2 years, we think, based on the expensive trends we've had over the last couple of years. So again, this is a starting point. Everybody knows that we're going to be at 3.9 no matter what, just what we asked for, or what we got this year.
But doesn't your money come like so much to the cemetery from Lake County and so much?
I get nothing from Lake County, other than...
No, but when our money comes in, it's because I got money for cemeteries before I even got cemeteries.
Well, I don't know about that,
Yeah.
but when you were...
That's a minimum amount of our total revenues.
Yeah.
No, and then general
Yes.
census comes, that's all.
Because we have 6 different funds, we have to ask for 6 different line items, 6 different amounts. That's why it gets cumbersome. That's why we were trying to move it all over eventually into one. That way, if we ask for a flat, whatever, 4 million, right? That covers all of our expenses, and then we can divvy it up when it's time to do the budgeting, versus trying to figure out how much we need for each fund. That's the problem. So, of course, if we're going to buy property, that's another whole story. But we have money in the bank, in the capital improvement line item, and there's always a loan if we need to. But we can always...
No loans.
Okay. Well, then you can write a check.
So last year we requested 4.2 million, and we received 3.9, correct?
We've got 2.9, yes, because the other part went to the municipality.
So if we left this meeting right now and had to make a decision, we would be doing the same, asking for 4.2 and probably hoping for 3.9.
Right, and then again, that's all based on what our EAV ends up being, because we don't know what that is yet.
Okay,
That's why that's all part of the...
In general,
It's hard to know, because we don't know
Making
what that is.
assumptions.
Yes.
Right, just in a general, easy.
Right, and that's fine with me, I'm just giving you options.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Appreciate all the work you put into this.
And then cemetery, again, we weren't asking for any money, and the expenses are pretty much the same, so that was easy what to do. So, where do we want to go with this?
Well, I like Larry's point as far as long-term planning, if there's an opportunity, and it makes sense for the township to look at the ability to have that.
But let's not forget that now that's another whole building we have to maintain and insure. And
if it doesn't make sense, then
I
already half hour late on our...
do it.
Pardon?
That conversation, we're already half hour late for our...
I know.
So, if any...
No, I'm just
Yeah, I mean...
telling you like it is.
All I'm saying is,
and that's fine.
let's just sit down and talk about it.
That's fine.
Let's
I'm not against it.
And the other thing is, in reference to this equipment stuff, Peterbilt or international and stuff, I mean, you got time buckets that you got to put into at the same time this stuff doesn't work anymore or whatever, and we just need, it's not to say we're going to do it, but we really need to dig in because of the lead time of this stuff. So are we gonna start budgeting another $80,000 or $100,000 on this stuff going forward, because this is the trend?
I know. That's why we have so much carryover, because we keep pushing this one thing down the road.
We need to review it. And what's the maintenance difference on a Peterbilt to, you know?
You're asking the wrong person.
I know, I'm just saying, we need to have these discussions, and sooner the better, because the time frames, when you miss your bucket on this stuff, you're out.
Okay, we have two different conversations going on.
I'm sorry.
I just want to give the board aware, there is one caveat that we need to be aware of with this levy. We have to post a draft levy 20 days prior to the adaptation. It can be changed, but we have to at least make it a draft available to the public 20 days prior to the meeting. We are less than 20 days from the November board. So the plan is to vote on it at the December board, which is fine. We just need to make it available 20 days then before the December boards. So, based on the conversation today, are you comfortable with me creating a draft of what we've prepared, or do we want to wait until after this other
With the couple $100,000 additions to the numbers, I'm comfortable with this as is.
So you're gonna gross up,
general revenue? Yes.
yeah, right, and then you're saying put $200,000 levy for parks?
I'm just saying,
We wouldn't levy parks, we would put the $200,000 back into general town, and then.
Right. So I think if you just roll up the numbers, adding in the between the net and the gross on that, what was it, 100,000 or 200,000?
Roughly, yeah.
Yes, just put that in there, and I'm comfortable with it.
I think based on the last conversation we just had just 2 minutes ago, I think we're all in favor of keeping it the same number we asked for last year. Is that not correct?
Yes.
The 4 point whatever?
Yes.
And then we'll allocate it accordingly.
For a draft, yes.
For a draft. So we have it 20 days posted, and then we can have another conversation again.
Agreed.
At the November count, which is only like a 3 weeks. And then we'll put it in the December board meeting. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the consensus. You got it?
Got it.
Okay. Any reason to go into executive session? Okay, hearing none. Next town meeting, November 20th. The date that they all decided would work best because it's the week before Thanksgiving. 8:30. Okay. Adjourn. I need a motion.
Great job.
Motion. What'd you say?
Waiting to drink.
Yeah. We always do. In these meetings. Motion. You did.
Second.
Okay.
Second.
Was Mary? I mean, Larry Doug.
Trustee Bowman.
Yeah.
Trustee Sam. Trustee Wilson. Trustee Cordes. Hello. Present.
No, yes.
I mean, yes. Present.
Yeah.